Hey bro, how you doing?
Hi.
10 years younger. Clean, I feel so much cleaner.
Really? That's 15 minutes past shake time!
It is. You're very late. Like, what would Rich say? What would Rich say? What would Rich say?
So today we're gonna be training in goals, North Hollywood, gonna be killing shoulders. I'm gonna meet up with a fellow 5%er and we're gonna get loaded on some better juice. Not really, lads. Today is not so much of a very special day. Today I found out that remote learning is gonna be extended throughout this whole semester till the end of January. So let's have a little talk about it. So before I start this little explanation, I just want to make a quick disclaimer and say that no, this is not me having a go at anyone. This is not me kind of complaining. This is just my 2 cents on the whole situation at hand. Now, presumably this has been a collective decision by the university or the universities as a means to kind of mitigate the transmission rate of, the virus. Now, I've spoken about this, stop spitting man, I've spoken about this time and time again before, and I do believe, I'm a firm believer in locking down until there is, a definite means to the end, whether that be a treatment or whether that be a vaccination program. I'm a firm believer in that. However, did we really think this wasn't going to happen? In July and August, before the semester started, we were told that hybrid learning was going to take place, so that's essentially a mixture of remote learning and being on site a few days, and kind of a mixture to get the balance of both worlds. And that is very important, especially like me, if you study a vocational program. It's like being a mechanic. Okay, so studying medicine is like being a mechanic. You can learn about cars and stuff, you can read the manual, but then when you go and put the car together, and you've never had any experience prior to that, it's going to be a very, very difficult. That is a terrible analogy, but yeah, did we really think a surge in cases was not to be expected during this winter? One, it's the winter, okay? Colds and stuff, they spread a lot more in the winter month. And two, winter months. And secondly, the cases here have risen, and presumably more so due to this influx of, people coming from around the world, whether that be for university or studies in September. The key question of the day is this surge that has been potent enough to kind of stop the learning process, to switch it to a remote learning process? Was this surge to be expected? Was it to be predicted? Was Einstein really necessary to know that this would happen? Towards the back end of summer, like a lot of people came here to resume or continue or start their studies, and they've come from different places around the world, and presumably that has been one of the most potent factors that has led to this surge. Now, I'm not saying that's the only factor. Obviously, there are a plethora of ways that this spike could have occurred, but it is the one that makes sense to me. So again, I'm not saying anything.
You're not saying that they aren't.
No, what are you saying?
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah. Wait, why not?
I'll get emails.
Yeah, I definitely don't want those, so yeah. I'm speaking about international students specifically, and we were told by, I forget the date, September or October, that we have to be physically here in Latvia to resume the study process. Now, obviously that happened for a while. Like, some people were fortunate enough to, go to practical classes multiple times a week. I went to a handful, but then others, perhaps who were in the lower semesters or lower study years, perhaps didn't get to see any practical classes. So I'm looking back at this retrospectively now and thinking, well, if most of the learning process has been remote and has been online since we've come back, was there really an imperative need for people to be back here? Now, personally for me, don't get me wrong.
No, get me wrong. Get me wrong.
I enjoy being back here, all the time. I like getting into my routine, getting into my studies, I have my thing going on here, if you know what I mean. But for some people it's not like that, some people prefer to stay at home, and I'm just looking back at it now and thinking, like, was it really fair to ask people to come back? And then I'm just trying to think of, the cost, the money, the cost to fly here, the cost to, find a place to rent, find a place to stay, you know, it all adds up. And if they didn't need that, and if they didn't want that in the first place, that's such a shame. That's a waste of money, and it's a waste of everything, you know. Now I understand that a university, at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, it's an educational institution, yes, but it's a business as well, you know. Tuition fees are a real thing, but, you know, think of Neil and the in-betweeners. He's got ethics, you know, like, I'm not going to get into tuition fees and tuition fee discounts or anything like that, but I'm just saying that it's like a shame for the people that didn't want to be here, you know. Some people had families that they left and whatever, they've got to fork out rent, they've got to fork out living expenses, and if they didn't have to do that prior, and if we could have seen this coming, you know, I don't think it takes Einstein to work out that it was going to happen. Essentially, guys, I'm not trying to pin the blame on anyone. This is an unforeseen situation, and essentially all I'm saying is essentially too much, but essentially perhaps the how in terms of how this situation could have been managed a lot earlier could have saved a lot of grief, maybe that's the right word, grief or strife. Je pense que c'est la vie, you know, that is life. We're in the situation that we're in now, so let's make the most out of it. Studies are going to be remote. Let's try and make the best out of it. I'm not too sure how that's going to work out, you know, not having that much patient contact one-on-one, especially being in 5th year, that is a little bit worrying, but yeah, what can we do? What can we do? That's my 2 francs, 2 cents, 2 pennies opinion on this little topic that everyone seems to be talking about right now. So if you think otherwise, or if you think something else, or if you think the same, I'd be really interested to know what you think about this whole topic currently. Yeah, I think that's the end of the video. A little bit of a short one, a little bit of a different one. So yeah, all that kind of good stuff, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate everyone that watches me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.